Only hours after you arrived back from destroying the nest of spiders, you received a message from your commanding officer. Contact has been lost with the beacon tower of Tor Varden, and it's presumed to have been overrun. You are commanded to round up what men you can and proceed with all swiftness to Tor Varden to ascertain the truth. If the tower has fallen, learn what enemy forces now occupy it and harass or eliminate them as opportunity presents. The first scenario is called the Bridge Guards. As you make your way towards Tor Varden, the gentle rolling hills slowly give way to rocky plains and finally into a boulder-filled maze known locally as the Scree. It is a barren, unnerving place, a perfect site for an ambush, as the large rocks cut lines of sight down to just a few yards in most places. Proceeding cautiously, you eventually hear the Enfield River, which you must cross to reach Tor Varden. As you approach, however, you hear other noises as well, nearly drowned out by the river. Voices of some inhuman type, a language filled with whines and barks. Climbing to the top of a large boulder, you get a clear view down to the river. There, standing astride the old stone bridge, is a pack of gnolls. Judging by the large cooking pot they have set up over the fire, these gnolls are camped here, likely to guard the bridge. The only other place to cross the Enfield River is a ford in the side of the bridge. Otherwise, it will take at least half a day to reach another crossing. There is nothing for it. The gnolls will have to be eliminated as quickly and quietly and as possible. All right, so this is the setup of the game. It's a 2.5 by 2.5 feet table. I've set it up according to the description in the scenario with a lot of rocks and cliffs formation, the Enfield River with the stone bridge, and the ford. That's the other place you can cross. On one side of the river, there's the Gnoll encampment, the cooking pot on fire. There's a clue token that I can go and have a look at. There's some potential treasure that I can get and bring to to further my course against the Shadow Deep. Along the river is 4 Gnoll archers standing guard, and on the bridge itself are 2 Gnoll warriors and the sergeant, their leader. My mission is to get my rangers at this side of the table to cross the bridge, across at the ford, and exit on the other side of the table. The game will last a maximum of 10 turns, at which point the game ends. And if not dead, my rangers are on their way to the old Watchtower of Tor Varden. My ranger is currently still level 1. She has a good amount of experience, but is still looking forward to raising to another level. With her is 7 companions, an archer, the named companions from Blood Moon scenario, a recruit, and a man-at-arms. At this side here, I have an archer and a recruit that will try and aim for the fort. Then we have my ranger here in the mid with 2 close combat companions. And on the right side of the board is another archer and some close combat companions. Special rules within the scenarios is that the gnolls are not aware that my guys are coming, so as long as I can stay out of line of sight, I have a chance to take out a few of them before they raise the alarm. So stealth is the key. The archer over here, Ola, has the stealth skill, so she'll be doing some rolls that might help me through the mission. And let's see how it goes. every odd number of turns, I'll be drawing an event card to see if some bad stuff happens to my guys. All right. So first things first, my ranger is allowed to take 2 actions, and the first one is to move. Oh, no, first, of course, we need to do that stealth check. That's a it's difficulty 8, and I rolled a 17. And because I managed that, I'm allowed to move a Gnoll 6 inches. I'll be taking this guy over here and moving him away from my group. All right. Next up is my ranger, Helga. Move over here, stay in cover, and she can move another 3 inches, but I'm not sure she wants to do that. Let's see if we can. He'll just stay right there. And Sepp, an old woodcutter from the Blood Moon scenario, a brute man with a big axe. He'll go over there with his first action, and the second action I'll use to move him into the shadow here of the cliff, so the enemies won't see him. Next up is the creature phase, where the enemies move, and if they can't see any of my characters, they will just do a single random movement. We'll use this dice here. So, and they'll never move intentionally into the stream. So this guy will just move here along the stream. It's now moving towards the bridge. I can't see any of my guys yet. This one right here is making a move towards my guys. And the last archer is also moving towards my rangers. That's good for the gnolls, but that might turn into a problem if they spot me too quickly. The guards on the bridge, this guy, he's going towards the camp. The sergeant moving down from the bridge, and the last gnoll soldier is also moving towards me. So yeah, these are some aggressive gnolls, and they don't even know that I'm there. All right. So after the creature phase, it's the companion phase where I move the rest of my guys. The trick is if I can take out or hurt the gnolls and staying out of sight, out of line of sight from them, then the alarm won't be triggered. So I can perhaps take out a few of them. But right now, this is that's going to be hard as the gnolls moved in close to me. So I think we'll just have to take a turn to get closer before trying to shoot them. So right now I'm just moving all the companions closer to the center of the board, and that's that. That's all my guys moved up closer. I'm trying to stay out of line of sight from the gnolls moving in on my position from here and over here. And then it's time to draw the first event card, which is a red 3. Gnoll. Place 1 Gnoll fighter at the center point of the table, then roll a random direction and move the Gnoll 8 inches in that direction. All right, let's take this guy right here. Center of the table, that's there. And let's see where he goes. At least he's moving away from me, so that's nice. But already another enemy on the board that I'll have to take down. That's turn 1 already done, and on to turn number 2. First up is my ranger. Oh, the stealth check. And that was difficulty 8. And Ola, oh no, she failed. She rolled a 1, critical failure. So I'm not allowed to move any of the gnolls this round. That would have been good. First up is my ranger. She's allowed to activate 2 other models. I'm not sure I'll be able to do this without raising the alarm. I think I'll just have to get on with it. So, first up, Ola is moving on here into the shrub, and she'll try to take a shot at the archer. There's a piece of intervening terrain here, some shrub, so she'll get -1 to her dice roll. Actually, I think the gnoll gets a +1. All right, red dice, that's an 18, and the blue dice a 7. So despite modifiers, she fails to hit the gnoll. But she doesn't raise the alarm yet. Next up is my ranger, Helga. Try and get a shot from here. She'll move into the shrub and try and take a shot at the gnoll straight in front of her. That guy right there. She's armed with a bow as well. Oh no, the gnoll rolls a 20 and she rolls only 14, so that's another miss. God damn. Oh, 3. I'm actually getting a bonus because the alarm hasn't been sounded yet, but he still misses despite the bonus. Yeah, so nope, despite the bonus, she wasn't able to hit him. I'll then take, yeah, this cover is blown. There is no way these gnolls won't attack me now. There, staying cover. And that was the 2 guys she was able to activate. So, creature phase. This gnoll right here doesn't have any line of sight. Moves in a random direction. Here. And now this gnoll can see Ola, the young huntress. So he'll try to take a shot. He rolls 19. Oh no. And he has a +1, so that's 20. And Ola has 11 armor, so she takes 9 damage right up the gate. This is bad. She only has 10 health. So 1 hit point left on Ola. The next gnoll has line of sight down here, so he will try to engage. 6 inches, 3 inches. There he goes. Next up is this soldier right here. He'll be moving down here with his sergeant. I have a feeling this will end bad. This guy, the archer, has a line of sight there. I'll take a shot at my archer and misses. That was lucky for her. This guy over here can't see anybody, and he is moving along the screen here. And this guy with the two-handed sword. I don't see anybody. He's moving in this direction. That's lucky for me. The guy here behind the cliffs. Can't see anybody yet. He's moving towards the stream. It's nice that they split up a bit. And this one here, you can see Nicholas was a noble brat who was drafted in service. You can see him, so he'll try and take a shot. I roll an 18, and the Gnoll rolls only an 8, so no hit. And that's all the Gnolls. So time to activate the remainders of my troops. And I will not be able to get into combat with these guys. So 3 inches there, and 3 inches there. Just move in and get ready to attack them next turn. Try to stay in cover, not get shot at too much. 6 inches there. All right, and there's the archer right here. Let's move him out. Whoop. And see if he can get a shot at that Gnoll archer over there. And 19 plus 2, so 21. He hits, and where is he? His name is Pine, and he's shooting at a Gnoll fighter. So 21 versus the Gnoll archer. He has 11 armor, so he's taking 10 damage, and that's enough to bring him down. That's good. 3 experience points earned, and 1 enemy down. That was nice. All right, Wood, that drafted Woodcutter, will move around the cliffs and try to get in here to support his companions. That was turn 2. There's no drawing an event card in turn 2, so on to turn 3. This might actually be quite a quick game. All right, so first up is my ranger, and she can activate up to 2 friendly within 3 inches of her, and it's these 2 guys here. They're within 3 inches, except the Woodcutter and Nicholas, the noble son. So she'll be doing a group activation that allows them all to take a move action and then take their second action afterwards. This will allow them to get into combat and get some bonus dice in this fight right here. So that was their first action. Second action will be to try and do a good fight. I'll start with my ranger Hilka. She has a plus 3 to fighting, and she'll hit the Gnoll sergeant. He's also a plus 3. 14 versus 12. So my ranger wins the fight. That gives her to 17 minus 11 in armor. So the Gnoll sergeant is getting 6 wounds. That's nice. He has 12, so that's halfway there. Next up is Sepp. And Sepp has a 2-handed axe, the Woodcutter. Let's see if he can win. 15 versus... he has 6 plus 3, that's 9, 10, 11 from the assisting ranger. That's not enough. So the Gnoll beats him and he's hurt for 5 points of damage. But he has a lot of health as a big woodcutter. So that's the fight right there. No reason to push anybody back. Now the Gnoll, Nicolan, will try and hit the regular Gnoll fighter. 8 versus a 7. So he wins the combat plus his weapon. So he's at 11, which doesn't beat the Gnoll fighters. So they're just standing there. Then it's time for the minions. This Gnoll on the other side of the river can now see my guys, so he'll start crushing the bridge. Next up is this archer right here. We'll try and take a shot at Bertha, the men-at-arms. Oh no. And she's hit. And she is wounded for 2 points of damage. So that's not too bad. Next up, we'll take this guy, the sergeant. The sergeant will always try and hit the one of my guys that's already wounded, and that's Seth, the woodcutter. But he rolls better dice. He gets an 11, 14, 15, 16 from the assist. Minus 11. So he wounds the Gnoll sergeant for 7 points of damage, which is enough to take him down. That's important. So that's the sergeant health. Next up is the next Gnoll attacking Nicolan, the noble son, and he rolls a. We'll have here the Gnoll rolls a 1, and Nicolan rolls a 12, plus his 3, so that's 15. Minus 11, so 4 points of damage for the Gnoll right there. This is some nice lucky rolls, I must admit. The Gnoll over here doesn't have a line of sight to anybody, so he'll move in a random direction. And of course he's moving straight towards my guys. Not enough to get to see any of them. Next Gnoll. He'll start climbing this one. He'll just climb up here. Still can't see anybody even though he's climbed the cliff. And the last one here on the back, he'll also climb the cliff, and that ends his turn right there. So a good round, good combat. Took out the sergeant and shut down an Gnoll. But already I'm pretty well bruised on a couple of my guys. So that's turn 3. Time for another event card. That's the red 4. So let's see what it means. Gnoll. Place 1 Gnoll fighter at the center point of the table. Then roll a random direction and move the Gnoll 8 inches in that direction. So let's take another Gnoll. This time let's take this guy. A Gnoll barbarian. Middle of the table. Random direction. 8 inches. See him climb. The cliff's right there. He's probably been lying in an ambush position before I got here. Alright. Turn number 4. I have 10 turns to play the game, and I would really like to get to the clue counter and the treasure. I think I'll start with another group activation. Ruben, Helga, and Sepp to try and bring down the last fighter right there. Then they get to take their second action. And Helga goes first. She rolls a 20, so that's a critical hit. that will be enough to take down this Gnoll fighter who's already wounded. This is great because it leaves Sepp to use his last 3 inches of movement to get into cover and out of harm's way. And Nicolan, who hasn't moved yet, is also allowed to take move action. It goes up there. All right, time for the Gnolls to move. And we'll start with this guy on the bridge. He has line of sight down to Nicolan, so he'll just try to move down and engage him. To see what they do with their second action. Is there a hero in line of sight? Yes. Let's see, second action. If the creature does not have, it will move towards the closest hero. All right. So, first action, second action brings this Gnoll into combat, but he doesn't have an action to hit my guy, so that's nice. The archer right there, he doesn't really have, he has line of sight to this guy, so he'll take a shot at the Sepp, who is in some light cover. That'll add +2 to his dice, and he rolls 21, and the Gnoll rolls only a 6, so he misses. And as his second action, he's just standing right there. All right, this Gnoll down here takes a random movement out from the cliff into this tree, and now he has a clear shot to my ranger Helga. So he's going to try and take that shot. And this, all right, he rolls a 10 +2, so not enough to shoot through the heavy armor of Helga. He's wearing a plate mail, so no harm done to her. Next up is the guy here. He jumps down with his first action and tries to leave the skull on Sepp with his second. Gnoll rolled 6. Sepp rolls a 1, so the Gnoll wins, but it's not strong enough to cut through the armor of Sepp. No harm done. These guys over here on the cliff, they don't have line of sight to anything, so they just take a random movement. He'll climb down. Move a bit here, and the climbing down from the cliff. Still, no line of sight to any of my guys, so they'll just be, despite battle taking place on the other side of the cliffs, they won't really do anything. And that's all the notes. Time to move the remainder of my troops. So I'm gonna take the men-at-arms Bertha. She'll move into combat with this Gnoll up there, and she's supported by Nicolan, so she'll get a bonus to her dice roll. Yeah, no good. The Gnoll beats her. The Gnoll rolls a 20. That's not good. Versus Bertha's armor of 12, so she takes 8 points of damage. And with the 2 she'd taken before, she's now wounded for 10 health. She only has 2 HP left. Well, that's not good. All right, Coben is an old army veteran. Move into combat here, try and support Sepp. Try to bring down the fighter. Once again, I roll bad. He rolls a 1. The Gnoll rolls an 8. but it's not enough to go through his armor. So they're just standing right there. Woodcutter has to get into the action. Doesn't have enough to get into any combat, so he'll just go closer. And next turn, perhaps, he'll be able to use my archer. My archer named Pine is moving out from cover. He'll need to move into the open, but at least now he can get a shot. There's an all archer up there. It won't be an easy one because there's shrub in the way and he's been moving. No, he's unable to hit anything. And that was turn number 4. Turn number 5. We're already nearing the halfway point of the game and not really close at crossing the bridge. First up is my ranger Helga, and she'll move into combat with the Gnoll warrior there, and she has 2 assisting companions, so she'll get a nice high dice roll. So they both roll a 7, but she gets plus 3, 10. She's on 14, so that's 3 points of damage for the Gnoll. That's not enough. He has 10 HP, 7 left. Next up, Coben will try and activate. See if he can take out the fighter. No, the fighter rolls highest. He rolls 17, 18, 19. God. And he has 11. So he takes 8 points of damage. This is going to grind my guys down. Oh, he can't take a second action. Last the Sepp, the Woodcutter. Come on, down him. No, once again, the Gnoll rolls better. 2 versus 11, even with the points from assists. The Gnoll wins the fight for a 13 minus 10, so he takes 3 points of damage. My guys are getting battered. And now it's time for the Gnolls to take their action. First guy right here, and he will be none of those 2 characters. Yeah, Bertha is over. Bertha is nearly dead. So he'll try and hurt Bertha. He rolls a 7, 8, 9, and Bertha only rolls a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So she loses the fight, but it's not enough to go through her armor. Just check that way. So he's standing there. Next up is the archer, shooting back at my archer. Let's see. Of course, my guy rolls a 2. The archer, enemy archer, rolls a 17, 18, 19. So that's 8 points of damage for my archer. So I have 2 guys left on the board that's not severely wounded. This archer right here, take line of sight to Woodcutter. Let's see. Finally, my 7 for he has a better fight stat, so nothing happens there. That was good. Random movement for the first one. He gets down here, and then he has line of sight, so he starts moving towards my guys. This is a problem. This will. Oh, actually, this guy has a bow. So he'll try to take a shot at Wood, and he misses. That was lucky. And this Gnoll right here, he's pretty dumb. Still not catching on what's going on, so he goes over here and climbs back up the top of the cliff, which is real good for me. All right, time to move the rest of my guys. Let's see what I'm gonna do. All right, first I'll try to shoot this Gnoll archer with my own archer pile. And of course not. No hit. Next up is Orla. She doesn't really have line of sight or anything. So I think I'll just move her into combat and see if she might be able to bring down that Gnoll fighter. He's getting a lot of assists from 3 other guys. Shouldn't be impossible. Yes. She rolls high. 17 plus a lot. So that's bringing that Gnoll down. Then there is who's left? Wood. I think he's going to move up here and then try and he can move into combat right here and get an action to try and take down that Gnoll fighter out there. He rolls a 19. That's better than the Gnolls. And then he gets a lot of assists, so that brings him to mid-20s. So that'll be enough to bring down this Gnoll right there. Finally, some luck. Next up is Owen, the Gnoll Brat, and Bertha, the Men-at-Arms. And I think he's called Nicolon. So Nicolon will charge the archer with his first action and use the second action to try and cut down 10 versus 18. No doubt the archer was there. Brings him on a 19 minus 11. So 8 points of damage. That seems to be a number that goes around. 8 points of damage for Nicolon. Oh. And Bertha better move in and try and get a hit. 14 and 14. So Bertha wins this one with 17, 18, and 19. So 8 points of damage for the Gnoll archer. Not enough to bring him down. I think that was all my guys. Yep, nobody left. And this was turn 5, so time to pick another event card. And this one is a 6. Let's see what that means. Place a large blood vulture on the table anywhere along the hero's starting table edge. During the creature phase each turn, the vulture will move 6 inches directly across the table. It will not force combat or otherwise willingly deviate from this course. Only heroes that can fly can move into combat with the vulture. If this vulture takes damage within line of sight of the Gnolls, it raises the alarm. Okay, no, never mind. That's gone. Make a note if the vulture manages to exit the other side of the table before the end of the scenario. All right, so I think I'll just roll the dice, count from one side, and see how many inches in it'll start. This is a 20. There's 28 inches here. So that's 3 inches there, and then I rolled an 8. So yeah, all right, pretty much in the middle right there. Blood vulture, wingtips dipped in crimson blood as part of a spell to control him. So he'll move 6 inches across the board. My goal is to try and shoot him down before he gets across. I'm not sure I have archers for that, because they're pretty tied up fighting all these gnolls. All right, so Helga is first, and fight. Yeah, I better make a group information with her, and we'll allow Coben to move down here into combat. Ola, yeah, perhaps it would be better to take. I think I'm gonna take Sep. Use his 2 actions to run down here, and then it's my ranger's turn. She'll just be standing still, and her second action will be to try and shoot the gnoll down there. There's a clear line of sight. There's a tree in the way. Let's see. She rolls a 13 versus a 6, so 13. And her shoot is 2, so 15. So 15, and the archer has 11 armor, so that's 4 wounds for the gnoll archer right there. Coven's second action will be try and take down the gnoll archer in close combat. 15 versus 4, so that brings him to 17, 19, and 8 points of damage for that gnoll. Okay, so it's starting to grind them down, but not really fast enough, because now it's the gnoll's turn. Let's move the bird first. 6 inches across the table. Let's take this gnoll right here, trying to kill Bertha, who is my character closest to death, I think. Yeah, she is. I roll a 1. Gnoll rolls 16. So that takes Bertha out of action. He is wounded, and we'll have to see after the game if she survives. So, all right, next gnoll. This is this guy down here attacking the one who's most wounded, and that's gonna be closest to them. That's Copen. Gnoll rolls a 13. I roll a 6. No. So 13, 14. So that's 3 points of damage, bringing him to. He's now taken. Coven has taken 11 wounds out of his 12. So 1 health point left. This archer will take a shot at my ranger. 15 versus 15. And my ranger has a better fight value, so that's not a hit. The gnoll over there on the cliff will. Oh, now he has line of sight, so he's just climbing down and moving towards the combat. And that's all the gnolls. Time to move the rest of my soldier. So Wood will move into combat and take his second action and try to bring down that already wounded archer. He rolls a 20. That's a critical hit, so he wins combat and adds +5 because it's a critical. So this gnoll is dead. This frees up Nicolin to move across the bridge. Get closer to the treasure and whatever clues I can find about the mission over here in camp. Woods, Nicolin, time for Ola to take action. He has a nice clear line of sight for the blood vulture, so she'll try to take a shot at that. She rolls an 11 versus 3, but oh, it has 14 armor, so she's not able to hurt it. She hits it with an arrow, but it just shrugs it off. Next up, I'll take this archer right here. He'll have to move and try and take a shot. That will make it harder to hit the vulture. Yeah, he can hit it. He misses. And that's all my troops. End of turn. That must be end of turn 6. And time for turn number 7. Oh, this is brutal. All right. 3 turns left to try and get the treasure and exit the map and not dying. Let's see. All right. So Helga can activate herself and Ola. I think Helga will just try and take a shot at the Gnoll archer. She's already hit. She misses. Fine. She could, of course, have shot against the vulture. All right. She has to get down there and support the guy. So he's moving into 2 combat right there. Ola is the next one. She'll try and take a shot at the black vulture. Come on. Not enough to penetrate the armor. She only rolls a 4. She might as well move closer towards the bird. All right, time for the gnolls to activate. Let's take this gnoll down here. In the combat first, we try to hit the Coven. Gnoll rolls 17, 18 total, and Coven rolls 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, Gnoll wins, and Coven is taken out of action. Already badly wounded. He is down for the count. All right. And we haven't even made it to the Watchtower yet. Next one is the archer right here. The archer doesn't have any viable targets, so he just moves into combat. That's not really in the rules, but that's the only thing that makes sense here. Tries to, I think he would just be standing doing nothing actually, because he doesn't have a target to shoot, but he has line of sight. Yeah, so close combat is the way to go against my ranger Helga. 19 versus 11, and with her fight stat, this archer is dead because he was already wounded pretty. And next up is the Gnoll fighter with the 2-handed sword, moves into combat and tries to take out Helga. 17. Yeah, the Gnoll rolls 17. Helga only rolls a 7, so she'll definitely get wounded. That brings the Gnoll to 19, minus her heavy armor. So 7 points of damage for my ranger. All right, now for the rest of the soldiers that I have. I have my archer. Will try to take a shot at the blood vulture. Nope. Miss. And then it's Sepp, the woodcutter, attacking the Gnoll right there. And he rolls a 12 versus a 10. So that's nice. Sepp gets a +3. That's 15. That's 4 points of damage for the Gnoll archer, which is not enough to bring him down. He has 2 HP left. That Gnoll fighter right there. Then we have Wood. Wood will move across, ready to take the pressure. Nicolan will move into the Gnoll camp and see what kind of clue we can find. Roll the dice. A 19. Book of Poems. The fine book of poetry, apparently written by one of the soldiers stationed at Tor Varden. Some of it has been scribbled over, but enough remains to prove its worth and beauty. Well, that's nice. Give me some experience points. And that was the end of turn 7. Time to take another event card. It's 5. So let's see what it says. Red 5. Ruby trap. Pick one random hero. Figure must make either a craft roll or perception roll. If the figure fails, make an immediate +1 attack against the figure. If this attack does any damage, the alarm is raised. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys left. 1, 2, 3, up to 6, up to 9, 12, 15, 18. And that's a 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ola doesn't have perception or traps, so it's a plain dice roll. You must roll a 7, and it's a 16. So she avoids the trap. That's good. I'm just gonna take a few photos here for the blog. It's a nice board, nice miniatures. There's a lot of stuff that I've done to the board for this game. The river, the bridge. I've gotten the bridge specifically for this game, but it's nice to have a bridge. I've painted the Blood Voyager. I've painted up all the Gnolls for this scenario. So it's good to be playing it. All right, turn number 8. Helga goes first and activates Sepp as well. He'll try to take down the Gnoll. Yeah, she'll have to try and take down the Gnoll fighter. He rolls a 12. He rolls a 16. So that's 18. That's 6 points of damage for her. That's not good. 6 points of damage. She already took 7. So that's 13. Yeah. She'll just she'll take the damage and hope for the best. Next up is Sepp, and he rolls a 7 against a 1, but that only brings him to 10, which is not enough to beat through the armor of the Gnoll. Time to activate the enemy models. The Blood Voyager flies through the table. Archer first. The Archer attacks Sepp, who's closer to death. And nothing happens. They are under their armor value, both of them. Then it's the Gnoll Fiber attacking my Ranger Helga. She's on a 9, and the Gnoll is on 11. She'll use her heroic ability, the Hand of Fate, to try and reroll. Nah, she can't reroll that because nothing happens. The Gnoll wins the combat, but it's not beating through her armor, so it would be stupid to use a reroll on that. That was turn. That's the creature phase. Now the companion phase. So Wood will spend an action to pick up this treasure, and he will move. Actually, he's not hurt at all. So he better get back into the fight. Cross the bridge again. Picked up some kind of treasure. We'll have to wait and see what it is. But Nicolan, the very wounded noble brat, will use his action to move out from the board and proceed to Tor Varden, and at least he's safe. I wouldn't want more of my companions to die. Time to see if we can shoot the Blood Vulture. All shoots first. He rolls a 6, not enough. Then it's the Pine, the Archer. He rolls a 17, 18, 19. So that's finally enough. That's 5 points of damage for the Blood Vulture, and that's enough to bring it down. Finally. It's not. The vulture couldn't hurt me or anything, but it was just it'll probably have something to do with the next scenario if that bird managed to escape the table. That was my soldiers here on turn 8. We're on to turn number 9. Second to last. Helga and Sepp will activate first. She'll try and beat that Gnoll warrior. She rolls a 13. She finally beats him. He only rolls a 10. So 13. That brings her to 16. And that will hurt the fighter for 5 points of damage. And she'll use her heroic ability to give him another 3. Mighty blow. So that is nearly brought down. Then it's on to Sepp. And he rolls a 1 versus a 5. So again, nothing happens between those two. They can't penetrate the armor of the other guy. Breacher phase. The Archer is trying to hit Sepp. And he rolls an 18 versus a 12 on the Archer, which will be enough to kill him, as he already took 8 wounds. So, down with him. And that will let him use his second action to move into combat with the Gnoll and support him. And that Gnoll fighter will try to take down Sepp because he's closest to death. And he rolls a 20 versus the 15 of the Gnoll, so he beats through him. And since he's already severely wounded, he is taken out of action. That's nice. That was the last enemy on the table. And it's turn number 9. Time to flip the last event card. A 2, rain. Heavy rain starts to fall. All line of sight is reduced to 12 inches. All shooting attacks are -2. Thank the gods that didn't happen before I shut down that bird. So that concludes the game. Let's flip the camera here. There we go. There's my face. Thanks for watching. This was the second mission in Rangers of Shadowdeep. The first one is the infected priest, the missing villagers, and this is for Tor Varden. Just close that down. All right. So, time for the after game goal, which is a big part. This kind of game is all about. All right. So my ranger got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 37, 42 experience points from this game. That's cool. I think perhaps that will be enough to level her up before the next scenario. But we'll wait and see. And then it's time to see what happened to the injury and death. So to my guide, was injured to a degree where they might be dead. Let's see. When rolling for a ranger, push one to the top. All right. So first up, we'll roll a dice for Bertha, and she rolls a 3. Permanent injury. That's not good. The figure suffers an injury that never fully heals. Roll on the permanent injury table below to determine the exact nature of the injury. 7. Crushed arm. The figure suffers permanent bone or muscle damage in its arm. It suffers -1 to its fight. This injury can be received twice for a cumulative effect. All right, so that's not good. I'm not sure she's going to see much more combat. Rush arm. So in Ranges of Shadow Deep, if your soldiers survive a lot of battle, they will get better over time, but I'm not sure it's worth it for one of these regular companions. But let's see, Nicolan. 7. Close call. The figure escapes with only minor injuries, but does lose all its non-standard equipment. So he didn't have anything. So never mind that. Experience level. Go over that some other nights. Pressure. If a ranger or one of his companions has secured any treasure tokens during the game, the player may roll once on the treasure table below each token covered to see what they have found. All right, let's see what kind of treasure Wood made off with. And I roll an 18, a magic item. Ooh. There must be some kind of. There's a magic item table here, and I think I'll have to go and find one of the expansions and roll up that item later. Because if I recall right, there's an expanded magic items list in one of the expansion packs. So I'll have to roll that up. I don't want to spend time looking for that right now. All right. Thanks for watching. That was a nice game of Ranges of Shadow. I'm gonna have to try and figure out getting another camera so I can get more shots and get a camera that can move around the table while playing. To get some close-up shots of the miniatures while gaming, because it's all top down. Next up will be Tor Varden inside the Watchtower, which is one of the reasons we just finished up building that dungeon board, because that will act as the lower levels of Tor Varden. Thanks for watching again. Please consider liking, subscribing, and all that shebang on the blog pages, so this YouTube and Twitch thing can grow. There's a comment here in the chat, loving your terrain. I think I'm gonna have to build some line of sight blocking cliffs like that too. Yeah, do that. And these are a really easy build. There's a blog post somewhere on the blogger page how I did these. These are just polystyrene cup. I've made them into 3-inch cubes because I made them to quickly expand my dead zone table, and dead zone works in 3-inch cubes. So that's why they're kind of clunky like this. And I also wanted something that could easily be turned into a dungeon / cavern setup before I build an actual dungeon board. Put these on a dark mat, and it's easy to make some dungeon corridors from them. I'm gonna log off and get a beer and go hang in the Discord channel for a bit. I think might snap a few extra films. Thanks for watching, and have a good weekend.